So I'm halfway through my 9th year as an independent mortgage broker. And for the last 4 years, I've consistently been in the top 20% for mortgage volume in Canada in my company. That means of 1,500 mortgage brokers, I've consistently been in the top 300. Now, thank you. So it hasn't always been like this. For the first few years in my business, I was barely scraping by. I was doing all the right things. I was networking like crazy, advertising, forming partnerships. It didn't help. The pattern I saw was lots of business, then no business. Lots of business, then no business. So what was going on? I started by examining 2 truisms that I kept reading and hearing about. The first, and we all hear this, the universe delivers 100% of the time. So if that was true, why was I seeing the pattern that I was seeing? The business showed up, but then just as quickly stopped. If the universe was delivering 100% of the time, what was I doing or saying that caused the business to dry up? And the second truism, energy flows where attention goes. If I flipped this around, if I looked at my results, I could see what I was focusing my time and energy on. My results could show me what I was really committed to. Was it my business or something else? Then in a personal development course, I learned about the gap, and I was intrigued. So I started consciously playing with this concept while exploring the 2 truisms. Now each fall, I look back over the previous year in my business, and I start planning the game for my business for the next year. And I lean toward big games. So I tend to play for a 100% increase, or double the business I did the year before. Each fall, I now consciously create a gap between where I am and where I want to be. And as you can see, I create the gap so it's not always graceful or comfortable, but I want to share this concept with you and what it looks like as it plays out. I have a habit of checking my email first thing in the morning, right when I get up. A few years ago, I opened my email, read a short message, and immediately went into overwhelm. My mind was racing. I reached out to my support network. I knew it wasn't the email that I'd read, because all the email said was, please give me a call sometime when you have a moment to discuss my mortgage. After some coaching, I came to understand that the email triggered my self-talk, and I unconsciously said to myself and the universe, I can't handle anymore. So let's look back and examine what was going on here. Unconsciously, I had created a gap between where I was and where I said I wanted to be. The universe started delivering and fulfilling on the new game. But almost immediately, I felt everything was out of control, in breakdown, as my systems and structures were designed to fulfill on the game I was already playing, not the new game that I'd created. They weren't designed to handle the volume coming my way. The email I opened up that morning was the final straw that pushed me over the top and triggered my self-talk. I can't handle anymore. My self-talk that I was unconscious of was sabotaging me and taking right out of the game. I finally saw how I was giving the universe mixed messages. On one hand, I was saying, bring it on. But as soon as the business literally started pouring in, I said, I can't handle anymore. It was like driving with my feet on the gas and the brake at the same time, and the universe backed off. So the mechanism that was getting in the way of me fulfilling on the bigger game that I'd created was finally laid bare. That was a turning point for me in my business. Once I recognized how and when I was putting the brakes on in my business, I could hear it, thank it for sharing, and just keep standing in the face of the breakdowns that were occurring. I now consciously choose to create big gaps and expect and anticipate big breakdowns. I continue to step off the edge and take action in the face of not knowing exactly how it'll turn out. And I continue to learn, as I was then learning to traverse the gap. So during this time, I also ran for and was elected as a councillor for the District of Sechelt. So now not only was I playing bigger and bigger games in my business, but I also took on a big game in the community. As a counselor, I have meetings each week, dedicated periods of time that I have to literally step away from my business and turn my attention to something totally different. When I'm in a meeting, I can't let it matter if I have a client who is waiting to find out if their financing was approved, or if a lender has signed off on that last condition for funding. I knew I needed tools to assist me in staying present and focused on what was directly in front of me at any moment, regardless of what was going on in any other area of my life. So one of the first things I did was hire a casual part-time assistant. Then when I was in a meeting, I had backup support for those critical, time-sensitive items that couldn't wait. But what about all of the other stuff that was coming at me on a day-to-day basis? So 3 of the tools I incorporated into my life to keep me sane and focused, and I brought them with me: my book, my calendar, and a notepad. And I'm going to tell you how I use them. So my book. I use 1 or 2 of them a year, and I always carry it with me. In it, I record tasks to do or ideas to follow up on, literally anything. The book has taken the place of the colored sticky notes that I used to put everywhere and then lost or forgot about. Each day, before I go to the office, I review all the items recorded in my book and make a concise list of what I want to put my attention to that day. I also record that in the book. I spend some time with it so I have a sense of how the day could flow. Having the list when I start working frees up brain power and allows my mind to focus just on the task at hand and not worry that I'm forgetting something. My calendar. Well, obviously I use it to keep track of meetings and appointments, but I also use it to schedule me time. I block out time for massages, haircuts, a walk, or even a nap. Then when I need to book a client meeting or appointment, I check my schedule and just say, I'm booked then. I schedule around my me time. Finally, the notepad. This is probably the most important. When things get insane in my world, and I use that word, insane, I find that when I lay down at night, my mind is racing. Projects, ideas, clients, they form a swirl that make it impossible for me to get to sleep. At those times, I get a notepad and a pen, and I put them on the nightstand beside my bed. I write down all the things that I'm conscious of in the swirl. But it's like an onion. Remove one layer, and another appears. So I lay down, get up and write, lay down, get up and write, until the swirl is gone and my mind is clear. I know I've captured all the information that my conscious and unconscious mind want me to remember, so I can turn off. I can relax and go to sleep. The next morning, I copy the items from the notepad into my book and incorporate them into my daily to-do lists. So these are the 3 main tools that I use to free up brain power and help keep me focused and on task so I can continue to play the bigger games and traverse the gap. So now, today, I want to launch a new venture, a new game. You're the first to hear about 100 Women Who Care, Sunshine Coast. We will be part of a global movement. I'm looking for 100 women or more who are willing to come together 1 hour, 4 times a year, and donate $100 each time to a charity nominated and voted on by the members. Imagine what $10,000 as a lump sum would mean to a local charitable group. This is an opportunity to contribute a meaningful sum of money to a worthy organization that you're passionate about, without a large time commitment. Along with your event booklet today, you've got 2 sheets. The yellow one will give you more information about the organization, its goals, and what would be expected of you. And the white one is actually a registration form. I invite you to register and encourage your women friends to register as well. I'm also looking for a few women to assist with the organization itself. The inaugural meeting is tentatively scheduled for January 2016. Once you fill out the registration form, please hand it to me or turn it in at the registration desk out front, and I'll be in touch to welcome you to the organization. Look for us on Facebook, and there's an upcoming website, and I'm also going to be having further information in media locally in January. So I want to thank you for giving me your time and attention today. I hope a little of what I shared will assist you when you take on those bigger games and look to traverse the gap. And I look forward to seeing you at the 100 Women Who Care meeting in January. Thank you.